So, um, what do you think about the Filipino and Malaysian food?
Magkaiba. Really different. As in, yung Malaysian food would be a mix din of like with Indian influences and with Chinese influences. So in Malaysia, no, when I go back, some of the food that I look forward to eating are we call it roti canai. It's flatbread that para siyang pancake, no, but it's fluffier and has a different taste. So it mixes well with Malaysian curry. And sa Chinese side, no, I look forward to eating. I'm not sure if you're familiar with char kway teow, yung hor fun. Ayun, it's a bit like hor fun except it's spicier. Has some we call it sambal, no, yung spices, and a lot, pretty much. Yung sa Filipino food naman, much different. So very different from each other. Mm.
So, since you're coming back from Malaysia to Philippines, back and forth, did you see how did you adjust to the cultural differences?
Well, for me, no, since I grew up in Malaysia, I have no problem with the culture. So, adapted naman. And I'm also part Filipino, so I'm quite adapted to culture here. The only thing, no, kasi I'm actually Peranakan. Are you familiar with the Peranakan culture? We're basically Chinese that married with the Malay back then, so nagtagal na yan. And then after that, they integrated the cultures of Chinese and Malay together. So, are you familiar with si Crazy Rich Asians, yung movie? So sila, they're Chinese, right? They're not Chinese, they're Peranakan. So that's their culture. Ngayon, when I came here, no, so syempre I'm used to Peranakan Chinese culture. So the Chinese culture here for me is a bit different. So like when I visit my friends sa Binondo, for example, the Hokkien is a bit different than the one that I'm used to speaking. So I think that's a cultural difference because the Chinese that stay in Malaysia have different origins rather than the ones here. I think probably the ones here are closer to yung mainlander, except there. So in Malaysia, the Chinese settle in Malaysia and Singapore area, and they made their own culture pretty much, parang hybrid. So ayun. So when I came here and got exposed to yung Chinese culture, I was a bit culture shocked din. Pero can adjust din naman kasi it's similar. Also, the Chinese New Year here has different rituals compared to in Malaysia. Similar, but rather different. So I'm not that familiar with the rituals here. Example, no, back in Malaysia, we're not very much into tikoy, to be honest. Here, diba, pag Chinese New Year, pengin tikoy. Yeah. Back then, back there we don't have that. No? So like here, no, wala yung Chinese dito ng like pineapple tarts. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Pero in Malaysia, every Chinese New Year there has to be like pineapple tarts and different other foods that you won't find here also. Yeah.
So, in Malaysia, meron bang discrimination with religion or race?
Well, yun yung funny part eh. Sa Malaysia kasi, di ba may three dominant cultures. So there's the Chinese, there's the Malay, and there's Indian. So Muslim kasi yung Malay, and yung Chinese is a mix of Buddhist and may Taoist din, and somehow may Catholic/Christian, and yung Indian naman is Hindu. So somehow since balance naman yung yung tatlo, you won't really see any discrimination. I think the only time that I saw discrimination was when the Hindu group and the Muslim group were at odds with each other, no, and I think they may disrespect lang sa religion ng isa't isa, but they were both apprehended by the police. So if ever there's any discrimination again, blatant and nakabastos, you can actually get apprehended for that. So I think because of that, walang masyadong discrimination sa Malaysia.
that's it.
Wait lang. As, di ba